Hello everyone. Today I want to showcase how easy it is with SAMMI to create your own custom alerts. First of all, we create our own alert scene in OBS. Then we create a text source. Let's name it alert text. And in here we can do something like uh, Chris 1508 has just followed. Now you might think this is a bit big, and I fully agree. So we go into the transformation menu and select fit. Now we can just go ahead, scale this however we want. And no matter how the text changes, it will always stay in those bounds. Next, what I think is always pretty nice, we also add an image. You can, of course, use your own images, like, for example, uh, an icon or something like that. But in this example, we're gonna take the profile image of the user who followed. So for this, we're gonna create a new browser source called alert user image. Here we set it to 300 times 300 width and place it like this. Now this yields the OBS part. Next, we go to SAMMI. And if you have no decks, you create a new deck. In here, we are gonna create an alert deck. First of all, we start by creating a new button. Let's start with the follows first. Every button acts on a simple principle. It needs a trigger and an execution, basically the commands. The trigger for follows is kind of obvious. It's a Twitch follow, Twitch new follower. This means whenever someone follows on our channel, SAMMI will now trigger this button. Next, of next we are gonna create the commands. First of all, we want to add a trigger pull command. The trigger pull command allows us to fetch information from the trigger. So here we can look for Twitch follower. And here we see we have the display name, the username, etc. The display name is perfect for our case. So we're gonna save that into a variable called user. Next, we want to update our text field here. So we use a source change text GDI command, select our alert scene text, and here we say user has just followed. By wrapping something in between the slash and the dollar character, we tell SAMMI in white boxes that it's a variable. In the next step, we also want to update the profile image. For that, we use Twitch get user info. In here, we again use the variable for the username and we save it into an object called user information. We will continue with this in a bit because now we want to get some test data first. Testing SAMMI buttons is very easy. You have set up your bridge, and in your bridge, you have those Twitch triggers. In our case, we just press the follow button, and now we see people are following us every time we press this button. But we also want to update the user image. So if we go again in the button and open the variable viewer down here, we see the user info object. If we open that up, we see the profile image URL. By clicking this small button here, we copy the full path to that. So if we now paste it, we see this is the variable. We can also use the ID1, but the button isn't ID isn't needed if we also are in the same button. So in the next step, we tell SAMMI to change the settings of a source. And in this case, we want to change the user image source. Now here you have already templates. For browser sources, if we want to change the URL, you can use this template. And in here, we use our variable wrappers and put this inside. And that's it. This is your first working follower button. As you can see, this works already. Now, that way it would always stay on stream, which isn't the best solution. So we're gonna make it visible and hide itself after a specific amount of time. So first of all, we turn those to invisible. Now we do source change visibility, select our alert scene and the user image. Then we copy this command and paste it and do the same for the user text. By making those visible, they should turn visible in OBS. Now we add a wait for timeout command. Let's say 5,000 milliseconds, which equals 5 seconds. And afterwards, we make it invisible again. I also recommend adding a small wait for timeout here in case the profile image takes some time to update. Now let's take a look how it looks. If we press follow, the image comes in with the text, and after a few seconds, it goes away. Next follow, easy as that. Now, if you also want to add a sound effect, that's even easier. The reword play sound effect command in the new SAMMI version allows you to play any kind of sounds. In this case, we use the Twitch alert sound effect. And let's make it not too loud for now. By adding this, it now also plays a sound here. So if we test it, now comes the most important part. To have this and not drop some follow alerts, we need to enable the queue functionality. By enabling the queue functionality, it basically tells SAMMI to wait with the next button until the previous button has finished working. So basically just go right click, edit settings, check the allow queue function, and that's it. Next, let's do subscriber alerts. First, we copy this button and paste it here. Then we tell this it's for subscribers. We edit the triggers. Instead of a follower, we want to have a subscriber alert. And we select normal sub and the 4 tiers. Now inside the button, we can do another trigger pull. The display name nearly exists for every trigger, but for subscriber, we have also the tier. So we save that into its own variable. Then we do user just subscribed And here we do tier. This part stays the same. And all the rest of this also stays the same. What I also recommend to do to have the commands not overlap is setting a group ID. A group ID basically tells multiple buttons that they should go into the same group. So let's call this alert queue. Now let's test the subscriber. So if we press the sub button, we see it works. And if I press 2 times the sub button, we wait. And it seems to work fine. Next, let's do rates. Rates are also very simple. We use the rate trigger and select a huge amount of people. Display name is the thing here as well. As for the amount of people, we do amount. Very easy. Then we do just rated us with amount viewers. And of course, if you want to have a different sound, you can change it here. But yeah, that's already the rate button. Let's test it. Works perfectly. And last but not least, let's do a bits button. Here we use the bits trigger. And actually, amount should be the same. So we check it here. Yes, amount exists. Then we change the text, just supported this channel with amount bits. And this should also be fine. Now we go ahead. Let's test it with 10 bits. Let's test it with 1000 bits. And it works perfectly fine. The last thing is how you use this alert scene in the other scenes. Let's say this is my other scene. You just click on sources, add a new scene, and here you add your alert scene. Now, if we play a bit sound, the alert plays and you can move your scene wherever you want to have your alert. Yeah, this is how you create your own alerts in SAMMI. If you have any questions, always feel free to join our Discord, ask questions there in the help channels. And of course, if you like the content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.